Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw for Insider Travel Report, and I'm here today with some familiar faces, if you've been watching. Nirmal Savirimutu, CEO of Virgin Voyages, and John Lovell, who now I guess is a special advisor and board member for Virgin Voyages. And a few weeks ago, towards the end of September, they announced a new fare structure that really is somewhat revolutionary for Virgin Voyages. And we did write a story about it, and we wanted to get back to them to do an official insider travel video and really kind of delve into this whole thing because it's been received pretty well, but also some questions by different travel advisors. So we're going to talk about that and a whole lot more on Insider Travel Report. Now, great to see you guys, Nirmal. John, great to see you together in the same office down in Fort
Yeah.
Lauderdale now. It's wonderful, and thank you for taking that time earlier for that press conference. But let's get right to the heart of it. Can you describe these new? There's three new fare categories, and talk about what they are and how they differ. I want to maybe Nirmal, we'll start with you.
Sure. Yeah. No, well, thanks, James. Well, thank you for taking the time to chat to us, James. And it's always wonderful to be sitting next to John down here in Plantation. So, welcome, John. We'll talk about John, I'm sure, in a moment. So, the fare structures. So, we announced Voyage Fare Choices, James, and there are three ways to book Virgin Voyages now. We always have a non-refundable fare. We always have a fully flexible fare. And we've got a fare that's sort of somewhere in between. That's the heart of what we're offering.
Okay.
Essentials fare is somewhat in between fare. It is the current way you book us today. It looks exactly the same. There's one small change to that, and I'll talk about it in a moment. Left of that, we have our base fare, which is our non-refundable fare that will be always available. So if someone's looking to come into Virgin Voyages who knows exactly what the travel plans are, we have a non-refundable fare that's always available, which we didn't have before.
Okay.
And then to the right of the essentials fare is our premium fare for those people that want to plus up their experience, add a bit more perks to their experience. It's a fully flexible fare. It comes with access to dining a bit earlier than others, and it comes with a drinks credit, which we call our bar tab, $15 per night per person per day drinks credit. So what that does is allow us to give a bigger offering for people to choose how they'd like to book us. But one thing I want to be very clear about, and there's some confusion on this issue, James, is that it doesn't change the way you cruise. When
Okay.
you get on board our Virgin Voyage ship, it doesn't matter which fare class you've chosen, your experience is exactly the same.
And you get this access to most of the same things that you do. I guess for a travel advisor trying to sell these new fare categories, there that's where sometimes the confusion because anytime you hit a lot of our readers and viewers with a new thing, and this is and actually that you called this somewhat revolutionary. Why do you believe this new structure is revolutionary? Maybe John, maybe you can answer that one. Why is it different? Because you've seen a lot of cruise. You and I both have seen a lot of cruise ships and cruise lines over years, but I can't remember anything quite like this.
Yeah, the reason I think it's really revolutionary is we always will have what I would consider as the promotional rate in the base fare. So many advisors really want to have a rate that they can talk to new clients about. It drives interest, it makes the phone ring. And the base fare will always be priced, percentage points lower than the essentials fare. So it really will give them the opportunity to talk to new clients, new value seekers, people that might have thought Virgin Voyages was outside of their reach or whatever that might be, but it'll give them the way to really talk about the product and get the conversation going about Virgin. Then if you look at the other side of the equation, on the premium fare, it just gives them the ability to sell a little bit more, some of the perks that Nirmal mentioned, and be fully commissioned on it. So we're giving people the option on both sides of the essential fare, and essentially the essentials fare is what they're booking today.
Got it.
So we're just giving them that option to always have a promotional rate out there, obviously non-refundable, but then on the premium side, fully flexible. If the sailors' plans change, they can change. Fully amenable. They can change that sailing, whatever they need to do. So gives them a lot of flexibility, James.
No,
And
that's
that's why,
great.
and that's really why I consider it revolutionary.
Okay.
You see things come and go. You see promotional rates come and go. You see add-on bundling, they come and go. But this is always going to be there for people. So,
Okay,
I'd also add, James, is most people are used to booking airlines and hotels in a way that offers some kind of structure around flexibility. You either have a non-refundable fare, a fully flexible fare, or something in between. And that's essentially what we've done here. We've taken how people like to book travel elsewhere, airlines and hotels, and we've modeled that into cruising. And that hasn't been done before, which is why we think it's quite revolutionary.
Now, Nirmal, why make this change in fare structure now? Obviously, it was kind of at the same time as Brilliant Lady came into the market. Was this, and your fleet is now complete, at least for now, until you order more ships, and of course, you are a cruise line. You will order more ships, I'm sure, at
Yes.
some point in life.
Yes,
But
for sure.
why make it now?
Well, look, the reality is the brand is in a really good place at the moment. We're up 45% year on year. Next year is already up 70% year on year. So our forward momentum is tremendous right now. But we know that as a Virgin company and as any brand, you don't want to be stagnant, right? We've been hearing a lot of feedback from people around what John talked about of, I really would like to make sure that there's always a promotional fare available because we would have something called a lock-it-in rate. For those advisors that are very familiar with us, James, we
Right,
would occasionally offer a lock-it-in rate, which was a non-refundable fare guarantee cabin, but it was not always available. So a lot of advisors would say to us, we really want to make sure there's a non-refundable fare always, or I have to go hunt to see when the lock-in rate is available. It's confusing for me. So can we
got
not
it.
always have that available? At certain times of the year, we would offer a bar tab included in our fares, and people loved that about us. And again, they said, but again, I've got to hunt for that or got to wait for that on a promotional basis, cannot have that available to me.
Right,
So we kind of took the inspiration from what our airlines do and hotels do, and we know that people like to book travel that way. And then we merged it into what we currently do. The simplicity of what we've done, James, and hopefully your viewers will see this and appreciate this, is that if you liked it the way it was and you're used to booking us the way you booked us before, then the Essentials fare class is essentially exactly that.
got it.
You don't have to relearn anything. And that's one thing that we're very focused on here, James, is we know our advisors are very, very busy. They're selling a lot of travel. And the last thing you want to do as a brand is offer something brand new that they've got to relearn how to do business with you. The reality of this structure, and obviously John it helped us and shape this, and John was very particular about this, is make it easy for everybody. So if you liked it the way it was before, you book the Essentials fare class, you don't even have to think about the base or the premium. But if you'd like to think about something else, have a different kind of conversation with your client, then you've got the base and the premium available to you. And for me, it's a great way to continue to open up the brand to more people. It's a great way for advisors to have more conversations with people. One of the pieces of feedback I've been hearing, James, is that people are excited about it because it opens up the net to have more conversations with people who thought that Virgin
Right,
Voyages might be for them. On both sides, by the way, James. There are a lot of people that say, well, I prefer to have a more all-inclusive environment where drinks are included. Well, you've got the premium fare to offer that with because it comes with drinks credits. So a lot of people have said, well, I want to find a way to get a value because right now a lot of customers are looking for value, right? Well, the non-refundable base fare is available to you. So what it does for the advisor community is allows them to have more conversations with more people who've never considered Virgin Voyages before and allows them to increase their sales. But at the end of the day, we're all in this together with our advisors, right? Our job is to create an amazing product. Our job is to create a really good way to book that product so they can sell more and more and more because we want them to sell and we want them to increase their sales. And this is a great way to do that.
yeah.
right,
And then, James, in terms of timing, because you asked about timing, anytime you look at the calendar,
Yeah.
you have those periods where you really can't do much. And middle of November through early March, we can't touch anything. Everybody's going to be busy. Wave season's going to be upon us. The internal teams here worked really, really hard so we could have that month and a half time period to work with them, get them trained, get them up to speed. And also, we made the announcement 2 weeks prior
right,
to go live so we could do training. But as we work from October 7th into wave season, we want to make sure people are comfortable with the new fare choices and, have them ready as we move into wave season. If we didn't do it at this time, then we would have had to wait until, second quarter of 26.
right,
And I
right.
think we would have missed the wave.
Yeah.
So,
And to your point,
yeah,
John, we've been offering a lot of training, and also advisors get very busy, right? Advisors have lots
Sure.
of things to do as well. We're not the only brand and supplier they work with. So this is a great period where there's not a lot else going around us, and so we can offer trainings. And this week I've been astounded at our trainings. Our trainings have been oversubscribed, right? People are hungry to learn more about this. They
Yeah.
want to know more about it, and they want to learn exactly how to sell it coming October 7th. And thankfully, what we're hearing is that it sounded really
Yeah.
complicated. When you actually look at it and get trained on it and you see what it looks like, it's actually quite simple.
Yeah,
But
and
anything new in the market, people are going to start to wonder about. And in fact, you answered my question about how this might benefit travel advisors. But what are you hearing so far from them? I mean, and maybe, and
well,
I know, John,
yeah.
you've heard some things, and
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's all positive. Even what people would consider as a negative comment, it's really people seeking more information, James, and that's good. You know, Anytime somebody questions what we're doing, what they're really saying is, I need more information. I'd like to
right,
understand. And our BDMs, our internal sales team, led by Kareen, they're just doing great work. We're watching the feeds. We pick up the phone. We call people. We talk to them. Obviously, when we made the announcement, everybody's going to have questions, and we appreciate that. And all what that does is it tells me they're passionate about the brand. They want to know more.
well, I mean, you've become a
Yeah,
very popular brand very
well, it
quickly,
is.
and
And
people are selling you.
yeah, so you have the one-on-one conversations, and as Nirmal said, you do the trainings and stuff like that, very engaged. So over the last week and a half, that I don't want to use the word noise, but that the questions, the comments that we're seeing continue to go down. And now it's more people understand, they get it, it is to their benefit. We can help them make more money.
Right.
And I think it's a win-win proposition for everybody.
No, absolutely.
I got to say, James, I was, to echo what John just said, I was so humbled by the feedback, actually, because what we kept hearing is so many people are passionate about this brand
Yeah.
that we had a lot of people reach out to us. And to John's point, it was mainly about questions. The one concern I'd say that people had, James, was that, does this mean the brand is changing? And what I liked about that question, reason I said I was very humbled by, is it comes from a place of our advisors. They love this brand so much. They
Yep.
love the experience that we offer. They love the crew on board our ship so much that the first reaction was,
Yeah,
hold on a sec, are you changing what I love? Because, that would be a problem for me because I love this brand. Either personally as a first mate, like sailing it, or I know my clients love sailing it. Like, is something changing that's going to change the experience?
Yeah.
And as we've been able to communicate this a bit more and do the trainings, understand it, I think people have realized very clearly this changes the way you book. It does not change the way you voyage on any of our ships. And so that has really helped people understand, why this is better for them and why at the end of the day, this is not the brand changing at all. It's actually the brand evolving and offering more ways in to what is an award-winning experience on board, which is not getting touched. And
No,
I think that's the one piece that we have to be very clear about with our
and
advisors.
absolutely, you have been known as a brand that reacts to feedback and actually makes adjustments from the very beginning, and usually making adjustments that are really make it a better cruise.
he
So,
carries his blue book with him and fills it out on
well, that's it. I
everybody he
remember.
talks
I
to.
know.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
on. I went with Nirmal earlier this year. So
yeah.
and it definitely was a different experience, but it was improved all around. The food has gotten better. The entertainment, the interactions. Because I was on it very early. When Scarlet Lady first came out, and then I was on it again this year, and so I noticed improvements right away. But that's part of the reason why both travel advisors and their clients love the brand because
Yeah.
it
Exactly.
is different.
Exactly,
And look,
James.
we really love the feedback. I really feel with all those advisors out there, James, they should really feel like they've built this brand with us.
Right.
We're very unique in the sense that we've been shaped by our travel advisors, by their sailors who've come to us and said, "Here's what I think you can do better. Or here's some opportunities," and we've listened to that. And what you see today, the reason why I believe we are an award-winning brand and we get the kind of satisfaction levels we do and the repeat rate to do, is because we built this together with our advisors. Our advisors know the best,
And
right,
you
James?
listen
They
and
they
react.
they sell all sorts of travel. They're the
Yeah.
experts, right? You should listen to them,
Right.
right? And some of what you see with Fair Choice is a result of that. But I want to be very clear. The experience that we built together the last 2, 3 years, that is not changing. People love the fact that we include Wi-Fi, that we include soda and
Right.
water, that we don't charge for specialty dining, that we include all the entertainment, we include fitness classes. That is fundamentally the same. It is not changing. It is something we're very committed to. Now, what we are doing though, James, and I'm glad you brought this up, is we are evolving the product to add more food, more variety, more entertainment, more things to do, because that's the piece of feedback we're getting from everybody, is that our repeat rates are so high. They're saying, I love being on the ships, but can I get some new experiences on the ships? And so what we are now doing in the process is updating all the menus on our ships, updating all the entertainment on our ships. Scarlet Lady, who you sailed 4 or 5 years ago, she's actually about to come back into the Caribbean in a month or so, and she's going to have brand new entertainment on her.
Right. Right.
So it just gives you another reason to come back, which is what we've been hearing about loud and clear from everybody. You know, it's funny, James, we talk about change. A lot of the feedback we got was we like to see updated menus. But you know, the piece of feedback we get now sometimes, James, it's, well, you took away my favorite dish. So I did ask you to give me different food options, but not that one, all right?
Well, no, everyone's gonna always have a challenge, if they love the product and that you make a change, that you may get new stuff, but they might say, "Where is that old thing that I'm missing?"
Right.
You did that with your original, all your kind of food stations up in the what's the
The
your
galley.
The
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 galley.
galley,
galley.
which was
Yeah.
a very different experience. Now, one thing I did want to talk about, because of this new fare structure, you're also breaking out the gratuities
Mhm.
for the crew. And talk a little bit about how this is going to benefit advisors and also make it easier for customers.
Yeah. Well, look, first of all we're doing here is that we're breaking gratuities out separately. So we've always included gratuities in our voyage fare, but it was never transparent as to how much of the voyage fare was actually going to funding crew expenses and crew. So what we've done now is that we've just taken the same voyage fare and we've broken out the portion of it that applies to crew service gratuities. And that's about $20 a day. That number now is visible up front. It's clear to advisors, it's clear to sailors, because we were getting a lot of confusion as to how much of the fare was actually attributable to crew compensation and crew costs. So
Right.
now that's broken out separately. And again, it doesn't change anything.
Let me just say something about that. What we found we work with two consultancy groups that really went out and surveyed sailors, first mates, so forth and so on. So we could make a decision based on real data.
Yeah.
A lot of sailors did not know and didn't give us attribution for the gratuities for the
Right.
staff. They didn't even know. Over half of the people didn't even know our staff was being compensated via the gratuities. So they were coming back and saying, well, how do I tip? How do I tip?
Yeah.
When you're on board, there's no paper. You just hit your wristband. There's no paper being slid to you that, every other cruise line, you got a sign and there's a little thing that says tip. We don't do that. So it was also that attribution piece that we felt needed to be addressed. So I didn't mean to stop you.
Absolutely. No, it's perfect.
Yeah.
No, it's exactly, John's exactly right. So it was just the confusion around it. So all we've done is broken it out separately.
Right.
But again, the biggest issue here that we've heard from our advisors is, well, what does this mean for the crew experience? Because I love your crew. The number one reason people rebook us, James, is our crew. The number one reason, the reasons they book us initially when you're first to the brand,
Sure.
it's the food, it's the no nickel and diming, it's the no stuffy formalities, it's absolutely no kids on board the ships. But the number one reason people rebook is crew.
Yeah.
And some of the feedback we've had in the last week, the passion we've had in the last week has really been around, how do I make sure the crew are going to still get taken care of because they're near and dear to the experience and near and dear to us as advisors and our clients. And the great thing is, again, the way we've done this is our crew experience is not changing. Everything we offer our crew that makes them the incredible people they are on our ships and the incredible service that we offer does not change. They get free Wi-Fi, they get coffees and teas, they get food that's comparable to passenger food, they get their uniforms given to them, we pay for their travel, all the things that are, frankly, in my opinion, James, just the right thing to do. They're not financial based, they're just the right thing to do, right? They're
Well,
great.
and that makes the crew a lot happier and a lot more willing to serve and interact with guests. So with
Exactly.
the
Exactly.
sailors. Yeah.
Exactly. And so nothing changes them, including their compensation. And I want to be very clear on that too. Their compensation is not directly tied to this. It is shown separately, but their compensation is not directly tied to it. So for them, nothing changes. So much like I said before, if you like booking us, you book Essentials. On the onboard experience, our crew experience is not changing either. So fundamentally, nothing has really changed when you get to the ships.
And then, from the first mate experience, their compensation's not changing. Yes, it's broken out, shown as a different line item, but it's fully commissionable at the 16%. So, and the big one here, James, is we're continuing to pay on the gratuity side of the equation. We have
Sure.
no NCFs. We're one of the few cruise lines that have no NCFs, and it's huge. So the value proposition for the first mates is not changing at all. So I'm very proud that, we've held the lines on
And
those.
I think it's really
Yeah.
important, John, because we live in a world right now, James, where I'm hearing a lot of chatter from advisors about NCFs actually going up.
Yeah.
And that's a big theme right now from the advisor community. I'm sure
Correct.
John is more plugged into that than I am, right? But it's a big theme of NCFs on the way up. And so when we devised this, the last thing we were going to do was create some kind of back-end NCF by not commissioning the gratuities, right? And the important thing is we're commissioning the gratuities at the full voyage fare rate. We're one of the few unique brands that actually commissions on pre-voyage add-ons like bookables and things like that, right? Those are
Right.
commissioned at 10%. We are not playing games here with our advisors, right? We're commissioning them at the full rate for anything that's prepaid
Oh,
gratuity
and a
because
good
that's the right
rate,
thing to
and
do.
again, a
Yeah.
good commission rate too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's a great effective commission rate.
Yeah.
When you look at the full voyage fare and you're earning 16% on it
Yeah.
versus others where you look at the voyage fare, but their effective, commission rate is 4 to 7 to 8% because of the NCFs. I, it
Yeah.
doesn't take long to know where you need to really focus your business to make money.
Yeah. And John, I wanted to ask you because obviously you've been looking at a lot of other cruise lines over the years and working
Yeah, one or two.
the travel
Yeah.
agency side. Do you think this fare structure might be copied by other cruise lines, or they're going to take a look at this?
I think they'll take a look at it. I've already talked about the benefits and of why we did it, and there's smart people out there. There's very smart people, and yeah, I think somebody's going to look at it, James.
No, absolutely. And John, was this kind of the first thing you when you walked in? Because last time,
Well,
yeah, was this the
yeah.
task you were doing? Was to look at
Well,
the
let me
fare
put it to you this way: if this goes really well, it's Normal's idea. If it goes bad, it was my idea. That was
You
the
had,
deal we made.
I know nothing at the moment.
Yeah, yeah,
No, we're in this together.
Wasn't
yeah,
my
Um,
fault. I wasn't in the
Yeah.
building, right?
No. I'll
yeah.
take it. If it doesn't go well, it's mine. If it goes well, it's all John's idea. But no, but actually, John and I mean,
Yeah.
it's actually a different kind of backstory. But obviously, John was a president of Travel Leaders, and John has championed advisors for such a long time, most of his career, actually.
Right.
John and I, we've known each other for a while. Obviously, in his capacity as a president of Travel Leaders, and my capacity, obviously, CEO of Virgin Voyages, and we started chatting a while ago.
Yeah.
We met for lunch a while ago. We started talking about things and talked to a lot of things, including me wanting a partner at the board level to really help me continue to champion travel advisors. And one thing led to another, and John's here now, and I'm so glad he's here actually. And we're blessed to have someone of John's caliber here. And most importantly for our advisors, James, if I could just add, I think it's really important that our advisors know that I want us to be the most trade-friendly brand out there,
Mhm.
right? I don't want that's my mantra, right? That means no NCFs and all those other things, right? But having someone like John available to me now at a board level, right,
Right.
as a partner for me in the boardroom to champion how important it is that advisors are the backbone of this business is for me just tremendously exciting, and I just can't wait, to keep working with John on
Yeah.
that, because now I will clarify there isn't really a debate at a board level. John actually was at our first board meeting this week, and he can verify there isn't really a debate at the board level about this. But it's
Right.
always good to have somebody who's an expert who understands this, who can explain this in a different way, and someone who can be my partner and help me advocate for this, because I fundamentally believe that we are the most trade-friendly brand out there, and we need to continue to be the most trendy brand out there, because our success has a result of the trade.
Right.
We wouldn't be where we are today without the support of our advisors and the trust their advisors have placed with us. We won that award, Travel and Leisure, this year, James, which is the biggest consumer award in cruising. We won that for a third year in a row.
Wow.
What's remarkable to me was when we won it this year, we were one of the few brands that increased their score, and we got a score of 94, which is a record in the 30-year history of the Travel and Leisure Award to get a 94. And we won by 10 points, which is also a record. No one has ever won by 10 points, right?
The spread was huge.
Yeah, and that for me is a direct reflection of the partnership we have with our trade partners.
Yeah.
They
Well,
put their life on us, they trust us, and we've
Sure.
listened to them. That's why we are where we are today.
And John, I wanted to ask you, what was the opportunity you saw in joining Virgin? I mean, as you know, both of you know, I was ill this summer, and I
Yeah.
woke
You
up,
missed
and
the whole thing.
John was not a travel leaders, and it was like the world has changed. So,
James,
so
that's
what
what
was
happens. Yeah, it's what happens when you get sick for 30 days.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
Um,
how did this all come about where you saw this opportunity to go to Virgin?
well, it's a great question. There's no simple answer to it. As Nirmal said, I've known him for years. And one day we just, it was one of those conversations where, what do you think? What do you think? Well, let's have lunch and talk this out. Then it just progressed over a few months. But ultimately, James, it comes down to a few things. My career at Travel Leaders, highlight of my life, to be inducted into the CLIA Hall of Fame,
Yeah,
representing the advisor community. It was wonderful. But I look at the Virgin Voyages company, the people led by Ramal. It's just a wonderful opportunity for me. I love the brand,
yeah,
the Virgin brand. It's an iconic brand, one of the strongest brands in the world. And for them to ask me to do this, and then, the other way around, it was just a really, really good fit. And it's a decision that, I've never questioned from the moment I signed the piece of paper.
yeah.
So very
Well,
happy to be here.
well,
Yeah.
Nirmal, I'd forgotten you have a Hall of Famer there sitting
I
next to you.
do,
You
I
know,
do,
CLIA
I
Hall of
do.
Famer. I
Yeah.
remember when you got that. It was very well deserved, obviously, and it's because you've been dealing with cruise lines and working with them from the travel agency side for so long. So and congratulations on the move. I don't think I've said that yet to you
Thanks,
because I
James.
really haven't had a chance to talk with you.
Well,
Uh,
you took 30 days off. There you
I did.
go.
I was
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
I know what I was thinking, but
Right.
I do like the fact that you said you woke up and everything had changed. Your level was no longer travel leader.
it was all these things that had changed, and I was like, what else has changed in the last 6 weeks or something like that?
Yeah.
So it was like,
I will add though, it's been a real breath of fresh air for us for John to come in because, look, as a brand, 4 or 5 years ago, James, I would say a lot of people thought we were a bit crazy doing a kid-free travel experience in cruising.
yeah,
People said when we first launched, and I'm sure, James, we had conversations about this, we were like, well,
yeah,
hold on a sec. Cruising is not about kid-free. Cruising is about families. So tell me more about that. And just the fact that John has come across to us, should be for advisors, just continued validation in the fact that kid-free travel in cruising is here to stay and it is booming. Obviously, John, he has a lot of information about what's selling, what's not selling, right?
right,
So the fact that he chose to join us, I think, gives you a really pretty leading indicator for what's moving inventory right now. But if we think about it, there isn't a great kid-free travel option in cruising around this price point for a
right,
slightly younger customer, right? Obviously, there's another brand that does a fantastic job with kid-free cruising, right? But
yeah,
it's an older customer and a little bit of a sleepier experience, right? And that's a fantastic experience and it works so well for them. But there isn't anybody that offers something at a bit more approachable price point with a bit more energy, right? With the Virgin brand. And that's where we fit into the market. And what I think has really happened in the last probably year or so, John, I'd say, right? And more so even this year, is advisors trying to understand that kid-free travel is here and people love the idea of going on an approachable kid-free holiday, right? At a price point that works, right? That isn't a more luxury-oriented
sure,
price point.
yeah, no,
That's what's been
absolutely,
fueling all the growth. And John here now to help us steer that as we take that growth with us and make sure advisors are front and center and helping us do that. It's an incredibly exciting time for us. And I can't wait to really keep partnering with
Yeah.
John
we're,
and
lo-
see where
we're
we take this brand.
Well, we're looking forward to hearing. Yeah, obviously, there's lot of changes going on with this this fare structure. Now, I just have my last question. Is anything more to come? I mean, you've gotten a new ship. You have a lot of new things going on, new entertainment, new food, and now we have a
New
new
board
fare.
members.
And that
James,
and
let's do this. Let's get through wave season and then we'll address the future. But no, we're in a really great place. No huge announcements coming. I think we've done a lot. There's a lot to do with the new voyage fare choices. So wave season's going to be here before we know it. I
right.
expect that to be a very strong season. So I think our biggest focus right now is to make the first mates really as successful as they can be over the next couple months.
And so this change is effective October 7th, I think you said
Correct.
when it's
That's right.
going in. Now, where can travel advisors go to really learn more about this whole new? You said you've been doing lots of seminars and webinars
Yeah.
and things with, but where you just go to what the travel advisor website, www.firstmates.com, and you can find
Correct.
out more
That's
about
right.
this.
That's right.
Correct.
Yeah, firstmates.com. Find out all the information about it. There's lots of learning materials there. Also, reach out to your BDM. We're doing webinars all this week and next week as well, and showing people what the system looks like. Our BDMs are on the phones. They're working really hard right now, talking to as many advisors as they can. But what's wonderful to me is that we've had so many people reach out, James. It's been fantastic, right? It just shows you the health of the brand, right? And how much passion people have about the
Correct.
brand. So many people want to get to know about it. They want to be prepared. The reason we announced this 2 weeks in advance, James, is we wanted our advisors to be prepared.
Right.
We wanted to give them the opportunity to understand it so that when it launches, they can explain to their clients
Yeah.
because they're our partners. And so I'm very glad that we were able to do this 2 weeks in advance. I'm glad we were able to take the questions. I'm glad that we're able to talk to people like you, James, who can help spread the word about this. But ultimately, I do believe this is a really, really a good change for everybody. And like I said before, if you liked it the way you liked it before, then you book essentials, you prepare your gratuities, and you're basically or exactly the same as you were before. All you
Right.
need to do is you don't have to learn anything new. If you'd like to learn new ways to do business with us, you can book a base fare or a premium fare, and that's it. The onboard experience does not change. The award-winning experience that you've come to love from us is not changing one bit. Our crew experience isn't changing. Our sales experience isn't changing. We're here to make sure that your clients continue to book us and rebook us because that's the most important part, right? People get the rebooking.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to tell you something. We're going to post this the day before that you have this change, October 7th. This will be up Monday, October 6th. So congratulations
Thank you.
on this new and congratulations to you, John,
Thank you.
on joining Virgin. And I want to thank you for taking the time. Again, I know you've been spending a lot of time on this, and it shows that you care about what the structure is and how travel advisors, your first mates, can better understand it.
Absolutely.
Thank you, James. Thank you, James. And just from me and from John, a huge thank you to all our advisors out there. You are the backbone of this business, and we love the support we get from all of you. And just thank you for building an incredible business with us.
And with that, I'm James Shillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.